Welcome back, baseball family. It is that time of the month where we're going to go through and talk about panic or patience. Which team should be panicking based on their performance thus far? That's right, Brig. I said thus. Or
You
who
did.
should be having patience based on the talent that they have despite their performance thus far?
Nailed
So
it.
we're going to kind of live at the bottom of the standings, middle to the bottom of the standings, right? And as we always do, we're going to start with the American League East.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Thursday night, we did talk about the Boston Red Sox as contenders or pretenders.
Yep.
26 and 24 going into today, this previously recorded episode, by the way. So numbers are just a smidgen off based on what you're getting on Tuesday. But because of the holiday, we're doing this. So the Boston Red Sox, 26 and 24 today, with their 5 and 5 in the last 10, 4-game winning streak, plus 39 run differential. And overall,
Right.
they're 7 and 15 against teams over 500. Are you having patience or are you panicking with the Red Sox?
Honestly, I'm having patience. I think that they're, like I said on Thursday, they're being helped by the Jays and the Rays who've been doing poorly, which doesn't necessarily translate to a winning record, for the other people, the other teams. I'm just saying the plus 39 run differential is a big deal. They're not that far out of the wild card situation because they're a half a game back as of today, and it's Friday. So that's going to change. Excuse me. That's going to change a little bit between now and Monday. But yeah, what it comes down to for me is that if they were in any other division, they would be killing it,
Right.
in the American League. So yeah, patience.
Well, actually, they'd be in the same spot in the Central, which is weird to say because historically that's been the weakest division. But
Yeah,
right now, it's right on par with the AL East. They'd be sitting on top, almost. They'd be in second place in the AL West, right behind the
they would
Mariners.
be in
They'd be right
second
on their
place in the
heels.
West. Yeah,
Right on their heels, though. So I
yeah.
agree with you, though. Have patience. There's no reason to panic with this team. Like we said, tons of talent to go around. When everything's clicking, they're going to play really well. I don't think they can catch the Orioles or the Yankees because they're overmatched there. But
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with the wild card spot. So just have patience with this team.
Yep. Yep.
I
Yep.
agree. Now let's go down to the Rays. The Rays are 25 and 26, 9.5 back in the division, 2 back in the wild card, 5 and 5 in their last 10, 4-game losing streak, and minus 40 run differential, and 6 and 10 against teams over 500. Are you panicking or having patience with this Rays team?
I'm starting to get itchy. I think it's going to be a panic situation very quickly if we're not careful. I think you talk to me again at this time in June, around the end of June, it'll be a lock. I'll know one way or the other.
So I'm panicking at this point because this team
Yeah,
didn't finish the season well last year. They
right.
started really hot, and like we said, they had such a big lead that you can't win a division in May, but you can certainly lose it. But they came
For
really
sure.
close to like clinching that. I don't want to say clinching, but like having that division wrapped up by
Pretty
the end of
locked
the
in,
month
yeah.
because they were so hot to
Yeah.
start the season that they were able to ride that through some really, really tough stretches. And those tough stretches are carrying over into this season. I would be panicking if I was the Rays. I'd be looking to deal and either punt on the season and look forward to next year, or see if there are some because they have prospects. Of course, they have
So
prospects.
of
It's going to
course,
build your
they
team.
always do.
Maybe
Yeah.
send off a prospect or two, maybe 3 for somebody who can come in as a difference maker for this team and help get them over the hump because they're right there. It's almost
Yeah.
like any day it's going to click and then they'll be right there,
That's
right?
that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm not panicking or having patience all the way to the extreme yet. I think that if it weren't for interleague play, if we didn't have so much interleague play in this more balanced schedule, then we would be panicking. It would be hardcore panic central. Um, but they're not playing as many games against the AL East teams right now, and there's so much, and neither of the AL East teams, right? Nobody is.
Right.
So for that reason, I'm sitting in the middle, but on the panic side. And I agree with you. In about a month, we're going to know whether we need to buy an impact player or if we need to sell off and punt. It's exactly what I think. But I need
So,
another month to decide.
yeah, the reason I'm panicking is that 2 games feels really big for the Rays.
Rightly so.
That 2-game deficit. So,
Yeah.
okay, let's go to the Central.
Okay.
Minnesota Twins, 26-23, over 500, 3-7 in the last 10, +5 run differential, 9-17 against teams over 500. Now they rattled off what was a 12-game winning streak, but then they also went on a 7-game losing streak. Are you having panic? Are you having patience? Or are you panicking with the Twins?
Straight up panic.
Yeah,
Rome is burning or whatever. Like
burning.
it's all. Yeah, I'm panicking.
I
6.5
agree.
games back in the division, 2 solid teams ahead of them. I don't know.
Well, they're dead even with the wild card. I forgot to mention that.
They are,
But
but
a lot of that
so
has
the
to do with that
division
12-game
is
winning streak.
the division. I know we can't say the division's lost yet. Like it's May, but
Right.
we're running out of time.
Yeah, they could find themselves in an insurmountable hole come the beginning of June. Because the Guardians and the Royals, I don't think are going to start losing anytime soon.
No, I think this one will be decided by the break for Minnesota.
Yeah. You think they'll be ready to sell off pieces by the break? I mean, you got to be close to anyway because the deadline's coming up. But
That's
do you think
right.
they'll be selling by the break or after the break?
After the
But
break,
they
but before,
but they
but
will have made up their mind by then.
they'll have decided. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they're looking at spreadsheets right now, and they're getting stuff ready. By the end of June, going into the All-Star break, they'll have spreadsheet cells highlighted.
Yeah. Okay, I would go to the Astros, but they are a clear case of patience because
Easy. Yeah.
if you were panicking earlier, you were panicking way too early. Absolutely have patience with this team.
And
They're coming
we were,
around
for sure.
a little bit. I think everybody was. You see a
Yeah.
team go down 12 games under 500 that early. You're like, it's still early, but that's ugly.
Super ugly.
So, but they're only 4.5 back in the division. So, not going to panic at all with the Astros.
Even if they lose 4 games between now and, or 3 games between now and Tuesday, still not going to be a big change. I'm not panicking.
They're a team that has proven historically that they can rattle off a bunch in a row and when everybody else is struggling and be fine.
Yep.
So, okay, let's jump over to the NL East. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's stay in the AL West for just a minute. I want to talk about the Rangers.
Yeah, I was hoping. Rangers. Yeah.
Okay. 24-27, 3 games back is all. 3 games back in the wild card. 2-8 in their last 10. Lost 4 in a row. -7 run differential, and 7-11 against teams over 500. What are you doing with this team? Panic or patience?
I'm hitting the red button. Hit the red button. Call the fire department. Put out the flames. So you can salvage something for the deadline. I'm panicking so hard. I have totally sold off my hopes for this team. I don't know what they can do other than try really hard to get good deals.
So you're going to sell off pieces, or are you going to try to make a move to bring in an impact player to turn things around?
Selling a couple. I'm not selling the farm. I'm not going to break the whole thing down, but I'm going to make some great moves. If I'm them, I'm making some key moves for next season, and I'm looking down at the prospect pipeline, trying to figure out who's coming up at the same time. See if I can get the stars to align for 2025. That's what I'm doing.
They have a couple guys who are, well, I don't know. I think they brought up most of their top guys, and maybe that's the part of the problem that we're having this year.
Maybe they're young.
It's not the same cohesion that was there last year. So
for sure, it's not.
Maybe they're just trying to sort stuff out this early. I don't know.
But I'm looking at 2025 already.
And see, my thing is that like I'm seeing how the Mariners have played so far this season, and I'm having patience
with the Rangers.
Yeah. As the Rangers, I'm having patience because I'm like, this team hasn't been overly dominant. Yes, they're sitting in first place, but they're gettable. Because if that pitching, yeah. Because if you're like, okay, the pitching will get tired in August, and if those bats don't pick up, they're gonna fall right off the mountain. Right?
Oh yeah.
So
No, I
if
agree
I'm the
with you.
Rangers, I'm absolutely sitting back and just relaxing and trying to get myself right, having patience with everybody, and saying, you
Mhm.
know what, if we turn this around mid-June, early July, we're good. We're good in the division.
That's what I want to think and believe, but I don't see it. I
Yeah,
don't see it. I wanna be wrong because I don't wanna see Houston take the division again,
I don't either.
but I genuinely do not believe the Rangers are gonna push for the division, and I don't think that they're gonna make it to the wild card.
I hope not. At
I'm
least
just
on the
saying,
division part. I hope not,
right? Says the
because I want the
Mariners fan.
Mariners to click and run away with it.
Yeah,
Anyway,
right, right.
okay, now let's jump over to the NL East.
Yeah, let's do it.
The Atlanta Braves. Feels
Mm,
weird because they're 29 and 18,
right.
but they're 6 games back, plus 5 in the wild card race, 5-5 in their last 10, plus 49 run differential, 12-12 against teams over 500. Panic or patience?
This is the epitome of patience. I don't even know if you can call it being patient because I think what they're doing. Remember last at the end of last season, that break, that bye series that they just had to coast through and wait. Everybody was like, "That killed us. That killed us." And then everyone was saying, even we were saying, "I wonder if there's a way to position yourself as number two in the division, but superior in the wild card standings." And I whether they're doing it deliberately or not, I don't know. Sincerely doubt that that's what they're going for. But the fact that they might land there is pretty awesome. And so
Could
I
you
think
imagine?
I have no doubt that they are going to be just fine. They're going to make the playoffs. But this is a sort of incidental scenario with the Phillies having been so good lately that this, like, literally, they're going to be the Lance Armstrong, letting everybody cut the wind in front of them. No big deal.
While doping?
Whoa, easy.
No, it's funny though because that's almost like s- that takes tanking to a different level. That is like strategic tanking, right? That like
It's just
let's win a bunch of games, but not too many,
right.
not so many that we're get that bye week, right? That we want to
Yeah,
go and
I
yeah,
honestly think that they're not doing that, but that they're going to end up there, and that's fabulous for them.
that would be the death of the bye if the Braves came in and just dominated everybody because they didn't have a bye. That would be the death of the bye round. They had to figure out something else for the
And
bye.
honestly, we all need that anyway, so that would be awesome.
Yeah. Okay, NL Central. Let's go. I don't want to talk about the Cubs because the Cubs are just fine. The Cubs are
They're
just
fine.
fine.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Cardinals. 23 and
Okay.
26, 5 games back, 2 back in the wild card, 8-2 in their last 10
Yeah.
on a 3-game indeed winning streak,
Yep.
and minus 43 in run differential, 10-13 against teams over 500. Panic or patience?
This goes against everything I know about them, but I'm having patience. This team, I don't know what it is, but the numbers do not tell the story of what this team is becoming capable of. I think that everything we've seen up till now, for the most part, has been more or less atrocious. I'm thinking we have culture problems in the clubhouse. I'm thinking we have performance issues on the field. All kind of weird going on until now. Something has clicked. It's working. I think that's going to continue to work. I don't know what that means yet. I think it's an enigma how that will all pan out, but I'm not panicking anymore.
I don't think so either, because guys who and this is the thing is you have. I feel like this team is built in a way that you have to have patience. That Paul Goldschmidt cannot be this bad for an entire season. Nolan
No
Arenado
way.
cannot be this bad for an entire season.
No way.
You've got a bunch of talent, another team with a bunch of talent that just isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Yep.
And it's like, well, we didn't do anything last year, so if we do something this year, that's great. If we don't do something this year, then it's like, we'll figure it out next year, right? Because much of the roster was the same, other than the the last farewell tour they got guys they brought
Yeah.
for their pitching staff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, either we click and do really well this year, or it just doesn't happen again this year, and so we look forward to next year. So it's like, just write it out. Just write
Yeah.
out what you've got. Don't make any major moves, anything like that. Just
No.
have patience all the way through the season. It is what it is with
Yep.
the Cardinals. Um, let's talk about the Reds.
Okay.
So the Reds are 20-30, 8.5 games back, 5.5 back in the wild card, 3-7 in their last 10. They've lost 2 in a row, minus 11 run differential, and 8-18 against teams over 500. Are you panicking or having patience with the
I'm
Reds?
still gonna have patience. Stuff's gonna start clicking, and part of it will be that the Pirates will fall, and that will
Right,
bring up Cincinnati. That's what I think is gonna happen. So I don't know how to project what that will mean after the break, going into the playoffs. I have no
yeah,
idea, but it's not Rome is not burning in Cincinnati or whatever. Like I
right.
wouldn't say that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to have patience with this team. And honestly, if we were to go talk about the Pirates for the exact same reasons, I'm going to have patience. The Pirates,
Same.
the Pirates' problem is very tangible. You know exactly what it is. They have a bad bullpen,
Yep.
straight up. That's what
Yep.
it is. Because I was looking real quick as I was looking at the Reds. The Pirates are 23-28, 6 back in the division, 3 back in the wild card, 5-5 in their last 10, which might be who they are. Just a 500 team the
Might
whole
be.
way, right? But they're 11-13 against teams over 500.
My problem with the Pirates is that negative 31 run differential. But the offense is day to day hot and cold. And you can't advance in the standings very much with a hot and
Right.
cold day to day bat. You just can't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Um, but the offense is there. It's
It's
certainly there.
there.
Andrew McCutcheon has had a revival this year. I don't know what's going on there. That dude's hitting
I don't know
leadoff home
either.
runs 3 times a week.
Yeah,
So
I don't know what it is. But that's what I think. I think everybody in that lineup is capable, and I think sometimes it just doesn't show up that day.
yeah, that's exactly how I feel about the Reds.
Right?
Absolutely capable, but they're both really young overall. And so that might be
Exactly.
why we're seeing where we're at right now. So maybe
That's
it just
right.
isn't their year. Who's to say? Okay,
Time.
the NL
Time will
West.
tell.
Time will tell, indeed. Time after time. NL West.
Hmm.
Let's not talk about the Padres because I think we're okay there. The Giants, Los Gigantes, 25-26 overall, 7.5 back in the division, 1 back in the wild card, 7-3 in their last 10. They've won back-to-back games. It's 2 in a row for those keeping track. Minus 24 run differential and 6-14 against teams over 500. Panic or patience?
Panic.
Yes. Hit that red button. Big time.
I'm
One of these
panicking.
times we need to have an actual red button that we hit.
Yeah. Those moves they made in the offseason were terrific. And I don't know how it has gone so poorly thus far. That is astonishing. So, yeah, I don't know what to say about San Francisco that would be redeeming. I know they're only one game back in the wild card. I got it. But Arizona is going to pick it up. Like they just are. And if San Francisco doesn't, then they're going to get got, and that's going to be a huge problem. Honestly, that's what I'm worried about. I don't think San Francisco has a chance of catching San Diego. I think San Diego is just going to keep powering on. They're going to do what they do, and they're going to rise way above that 500 mark. But I think Arizona is going to do the same thing, and so we're going to have a Dodgers Padres Diamondbacks situation, or we're going to have a Dodgers Diamondbacks Padres situation. 1, 2, 3. I don't know which it's going to be yet,
Yeah, no, I agree
but I'm
because I think
panicking.
that goes into our next. I'm absolutely panicking with the Giants. So you talk about all the guys the Giants brought in during the offseason, and it was kind of like, was it last year, 2, 3? It was no, I don't know. It was a couple years ago. You were talking about how Brian Cashman was collecting baseball cards, and that's kind of
Yep.
what the Giants did. It was almost like if we bring in all these big names, the sum of their parts will do a great, great job. Jorge Soler had a killer year last year. He could not have had the timing be better to come into free agency after his year that he had in Miami.
Oh yeah.
But he has been underwhelming in San Francisco.
Yep.
Matt
So is
Chapman.
Matt Chapman.
Yes, exactly right. It's almost like the Blue Jays were like, nah, there's a
They were
reason.
like, sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah, take
yeah,
him. They all knew something we didn't know.
yeah, yeah. And I will say this: there were certain people who talked about Matt Chapman's decline. Like I
There
saw
were.
on like social media and stuff, but I was like, but it's still Matt Chapman. Like he's still like a young dude who, but it was rapid.
Yeah,
And who
it
knows?
was.
Maybe he will flip things around here this season. But yeah, I'm panicking if I'm the Giants. I'm looking to make a move or two, and especially since the Blake Snell thing has not worked out thus far.
Dude, I just looked up Blake Snell's stats.
He's on the
Four
IL
games
still, isn't he?
pitched, 4 games pitched, 19 earned runs, 1140 is his ERA. His whip is over 2.07 whip.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That was
I know there's been an injury thing, but either way, it's
well,
not
and that could
working
be
out.
because he skipped spring training.
Oh, how could that
Because
not
his
be possible?
yeah,
Or
hey,
related, I mean. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So the last team is the Diamondbacks, and really we addressed that. We're absolutely having patience with this team because we've seen what they can do. They didn't make a lot of moves in the offseason, but everything they did was a legitimate upgrade. And they're missing a couple pieces still. They're still missing Eduardo Rodriguez, who, when he comes in, that's going to be a lock. Jordan Montgomery has been a stud for them. He's been really good. Zach
For
Gallen
sure.
has not been Zach Gallen consistently, but it's still early.
Yeah.
I don't
Although,
feel like
like
this
we
team.
keep saying, it's getting a little late to be saying it's still early. We're
It
getting
is.
there.
Yeah. It is getting to be late to still be early. And I need Corbin Carroll to remember how to play baseball.
Bro. Did you see him go for an inside the Parker the other day and get thrown out by Ellie De La Cruz?
No, but not surprised.
Dude, Ellie De La Cruz unlocked a 100-mile-an-hour relay to the catcher.
Yeah, and it was a strike.
Oh, bro, not just a strike, but it was like a bazooka. Like his arm moved at a normal rate of speed, and then by the time he got to his wrist flick and release, that ball accelerated like 6 times faster than his arms was moving. It was like a video game. We should show the clip if we can. It was absolutely nuts.
That's fantastic. So
Dude.
speaking of Corbin Carroll, though, did you see the play he made at the wall? I think it was last night on
Yes.
Thursday night, where he
Yeah.
goes and makes the catch, then immediately throws a handful of seeds in his mouth that he was
Yeah.
holding while he was making the play.
Yeah. Savage.
I was like, that is the best baseball play we will ever see.
And he was so
Because
cool about it.
it reminded me of my buddy who in high school would mow through an entire mouthful of seeds every single batter. So he'd be up there and he'd be set and he'd be spitting seeds off to the side and then he'd throw. And as I'm throwing the ball back to him, he's got his glove out, just spitting seeds.
Yeah.
Then he gets him. And then he strikes the dude out, as he's taking his lapper on the mound, he reaches into his back pocket and throws some more in. As much
They're
of his
probably
routine as anything else. Looked like Brickma. Pow.
Brickma. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's miss him out.
Let the big dog eat.